The title of this podcast is Don't Try to Make Other Things Spiritual, Make You Spiritual. And I think that's something that I learned a long time ago after a lot of suffering. Is I was so busy wanting people to be a certain way, the person that I'm dating, wanting the job to be a certain way, the people that I work with to be a certain way, just all these family, all these things needed to be a certain way. I wanted them to be perfect. I wanted them to be spiritual. I wanted them to be enlightened. I want the country to be a certain way. I need all of this to be a certain way so that and I thought that way was to be spiritual. For me to be okay and it to be perfect for me. And since then, what I've learned is that I can control any of those things. Not the country, not other people's politics, not what someone I'm dating or my significant other does. I can't control any of that. And me sitting here wishing and wanting and trying to encourage and motivate and coach into being spiritual, that's a dead end. It's a dead end. A lot of wasted energy. And the fact that I'm trying to do that to other people just kind of shows how much more growth that I need to do, when where the focus could be better used is applied is on me. That's where I want to be. I see people that go from job to job and looking for what's going to make them happy. It's not the job. It's not that. People's like, I'm going to take a sabbatical and I'm going to travel the country to find, travel the world to find myself. You're right here. You're not somewhere else to find yourself. That doesn't make you, going somewhere else and trying to do these other things or to you got to have these certain experiences. That's not it. Or the job has to be a certain way. You don't seek yourself in other things outside of you. It's only you. And when you take that approach or when you come to that kind of knowing, then what you do is you start to work on you being spiritual. In my work that I do right now, there are so many things that in the past would have bothered me, like the day-to-day task, like when I'm giving classes, setting up all the gear, making, workout stations and things like that for people, creating a schedule, a playlist, all these things that you do to try to, to facilitate having a great workout experience. When I'm at Mayo, there's a lot of things I have to do in terms of responding to email, doing a ton of research and reading and replying to things and scheduling rooms and spaces and setting up slide decks, all these things that are necessary to do my job. And I could easily be bothered by all these tasks. I mean, here's an example. The other day, we have a community garden. And so I could have been bothered about like having to change out of a suit to put overalls on, to go to the garden, put a suit back on, dig around in the dirt, help plant, help run into the building and out, grabbing water, taking the overalls off, getting back into a suit and tie. Could have been bothered by all of that. Or I shouldn't be having to do this. Somebody else should have to do this. We had a celebration last night, a dedication, which was an awesome event to dedicate a community garden at a healthcare institution for the employees. How cool is that, right? I'm getting paid to garden. Like that's one way to look at it. Or I get to garden, another good way to look at it, and part of it, my colleague and I, and a senior leader and a administrative assistant, after everyone was long gone, we're breaking down the canopy. It's pretty heavy. It's a two-person lift. And we had to take it about a couple football fields, and I'm in a suit and dress shoes, and carrying a portable table, one of those long tables that you have at Thanksgiving, taking that in and out. And I could have been bothered by all of that, or like, why isn't someone out here to help? I can't believe. No, and I'm trying to make all of this be a certain way, this job, and people leave jobs to chase something else. No, like every bit. of that experience was fine. Like none of it bothered me. There wasn't one moment that I said, this shouldn't be this way, or why don't I have some help? Not one moment. And the reason that it wasn't, because it would have bothered me before, that's for sure, was because I've made myself, working on myself, a spiritual practice. So that anything that I'm called in service to do is a spiritual experience, period. Any person I talk to, even if they're saying things that I don't like, or that 1.0 takes offense to, or thinks should be a certain way or different, that's a spiritual experience for me. So I pass no judgment on it. I just experience it. Everything lights me up, period. And that took work to do that, to get to that point. But in doing so, there's no suffering. And so, and there's no faking it till you make it. Like, I don't subscribe to that personally. Other people that do, that works for them. I'm all about practice. Like, I'm just going to keep practicing. So this is going. The part of me that used to be bothered by having to do things, or saying that I've achieved this status in the organization, or these are my credentials, I shouldn't have to do this. That thing has been gone away for so long that every time it used to show up, like Michael Singer says, I let that experience be an opportunity to hold that part of my ego out to the world until it keeps taking pieces of it away. And what's interesting is that I've seen so many people at Mayo Clinic, where I work, who have been incredibly phenomenal. I mean, they've got so many research papers and publications behind their name. They're full professors. Uh, and they're there with their teams, helping clean up a room, put things away, saying thank you and please, how can I help you? Almost to the point that you would forget who is the senior leader, who is the physician, or the senior APP, advanced practitioner. You know, you'd forget who the advanced provider. You forget who is a senior leader because of how they are showing up. My the person who I reported to last night, her name is Marlene, and she is incredibly smart, brilliant, and she's meticulous and attention to detail in everything she does. She's really taken our office to another level. And she is immaculately dressed every single time. And so she was out in heels, and she's walking through the rocks at the garden, just like I am. She's carrying water bottles and breaking down tables, and lifting things and everything else in this unstable gravel that makes up the garden floor. That's what she's doing, the ground and the rocks that cover the ground. Not one complaint. No task is beneath her. She's there to serve. And so, because apparently she's worked on herself, to where she's a servant leader. And a key thing is servant first. And so she's not out there wishing it was different, or somebody else should be doing something else. No, she's not doing any of that. And I'm fortunate that I work with a lot of people like that, physicians and doctors, who they have worked on themselves, that they have made working on themselves a spiritual practice. And that's how they show up. That's how they treat people. And so for me, it's been the same thing. The moment that I started complaining and wishing that people were different, that I wish the work situation was different, which is much different than there are things that we can improve. The difference is that when I start complaining about it, and these disturbances inside, and I think that all of this out here should be a different way, I've lost sight of where the focus is better applied. And that is on me. Keep working on me. Make me spiritual. If I have any hope, any aspiration to uplift the workplace or the job that I'm doing and making it better, or making a positive contribution to the country, to the world, the best way to do it is become that which I want, period. I see people talking all the time about, this ethnicity should be different, or this policy. Start with you. Like why would I tell somebody else that they need to treat me kind and peacefully when I'm not doing the same to them? Or even with myself, and I'm not peaceful inside because I'm all worked up. I wouldn't. And so what I learned is the beginning of the work. And if there was an end, the beginning and the end is all right here. I'm just working on me every day, working on me. Something happens, something bothers me, the work is here. It's not there. It's not them. They don't need to change. Matter of fact, I don't want them to change. I want them to stay just like this so I can work on me. Keep throwing me that same curveball that I keep missing all the time, that I keep fouling off, keep striking out on. Keep pitching. Don't go back to the fastball. I can hit that. I need you to throw me something I can't hit so I can continue to grow, be better, continue to develop my craft. And my craft is continue to be a better version of myself than I was the day before, to expand my capacity to be loving, to give grace to others and myself, to cultivate even more inner peace, to continue to be able to sprinkle kindness in all spaces that I pass through. That's the work. So instead of trying to make other people, the country, the world spiritual, make yourself spiritual.